So, hi everybody. I just wanted to give you an update on kind of where we're at in terms of the project at this point. I know that it's been a little while since you all have seen some of the stuff, but I've been working a little bit on trying to make it so that we can get more vegetation. Roger said that there was lots and lots of vegetation and stuff, and so I got it to where we can have trees. We do have it where we can turn on and off the map. In this particular video, I don't think that the rendering texture is showing up the right way, but it is there. And we still do have the ability to turn on and off a compass. There is a laser pointer now. That laser pointer does go away after a minute, but the reason the laser pointer matters is that we also have the ability now to press a button and to bring up a canvas that has different pieces to it. So there's always a thing that'll show you about the controls. It tells you on the welcome screen that you can open and close a menu with controls and teleport locations and stuff. And we do have a points of interest piece that does have different places that you can teleport to, and I'll show you that functionality in a little bit. Our little pig friends are coming and saying hi, and if you look, there's more trees and grasses and things like that that are all being created. There are sheep. We got to put some colliders and things so that they don't end up like on the inside of the tree, and so that we don't have pigs like sticking their head through, the pieces like the boards and stuff. But we do have the ability to have all of these different pieces, and the sheep and everything are animated so they will move around on their own. We could take them and we could put them on the inside of a pen, or we could take them and we could let them be free roaming. I don't know what you all want to do. We also have some things like there's little butterflies that are in there, and there's some birds that are flying around and stuff. I also changed out some of the textures so that the textures look a little bit better. There's little things like rabbits in there and stuff like that now. And if you look, there is a set of fog that we can see, and that fog is there based off of that one resource that you all had said that there was. In addition to that, I went ahead and I added a couple of pieces, like there's a Spanish flag and stuff like that. I've got on the inside of the place where Roger said they would have actually written up the muster roll, there's things like quills and candles and stuff like that. There's also like a 3D model of one of the assets that you all had in your documentation. And we have the ability to do things like open up the scroll, and this right here has photos of the object, and then it's got all of the written materials that your students had gone ahead and made. So we have the ability to change things up a little bit so that it doesn't operate like that if you want to, but that's at least some of the stuff that's here. I also went ahead and I made it so that we've got animation for things like the cows. If we were to speed walk, which is one of the things that Roger had asked for, we can get up to where the pen is that's up here, the area where the cows are going to be and stuff. And I have it set so that the cows will randomly wander around on the inside of this little field and pasture. And it might be a little bit difficult to see, but there's lots and lots and lots of trees that are painted into some of the areas, and then there's way less trees that are painted into the inside of there. That's actually being made with a script that is specifically controlling where things are being created. In addition to that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and show you the teleport feature now. We can go ahead and we can teleport from, wherever we're at to different places. So I'm going to jump down to where the crops are. It takes it a second to render, but you can see that there are cotton plants that are out here, and the cotton plants are all over the field. And part of what I did was put in something called CTS, which ends up helping us out with some of the shading and stuff so that we can get the textures to look a little bit nicer on the terrain. The water and stuff from the rivers and everything, it's fixed so that it flows the right way now, and we can, if we want to, make it so that there isn't vegetation that'll show up on the inside of that. But right now there's a little bit of vegetation that shows up inside of it, probably something that you would have maybe seen. So we do have cotton plants though, and the cotton plants will all show up, and they'll all be down here, and they're all laid out the way that they should be. You can see that the fog is fairly thick down here in the valley, and that we can't see it up on the mountains, but you can see the hint of trees and things like that. In addition to those things, when I pull this back up, I can jump to the captain's quarters, and you'll see that one of the other changes is that I went ahead and I messed around with the textures a little bit so that we can at least have a little bit of variety in our characters. We'll eventually get to the point where we have more characters, and we'll be fixing things like their arms, getting all messed up and stuff. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but we're really close to having that fixed. We have horses that are in here, and the horses are animated for those characters that would have potentially had horses. We can change this out so they don't have saddles like this. They've got saddles that would be different, and you can see that we've got plow horses over here. Another thing that is a little bit different is I populated the indigenous village with people. We do have animated controllers for all of these people, but I turned it off because I was trying to get the rendering to work right. I also took some of the work that Jonathan, one of my students, did in terms of separating out all of the different components for the indigenous people, and we've got those kind of broken out so that we could potentially set that up so that it would be a little museum type area. We can also jump to the church, so you can see that there's a little bit of variety again with some of the people that are over here. I changed the color of the textures on the people so that these guys, we still need to mess with it, but at least they don't look like they're, painted, with red spray paint now. And then we have a couple of the elements that are broken out from the different people that were involved with the church. So we've got those pieces. I did some work on rendering and things like that so that we could get things. We do have rule-based vegetation, like I said, so we could go in and for any of these types of vegetation, we could add in additional rules. So if you don't want the tall grasses to be in the middle of town, we can make it so that they don't show up. If you wanted to make it so that, we don't have, if you wanted to make it so that we had the Spanish flag as like an actual waving kind of flag, we can do that. We figured out how, but it slows down the rendering again, so I didn't put it in. We have things like spears and stuff like that that Jonathan had broken out, and we have those broken out components for a lot of the different people that are in here. In addition to that, I went ahead and I grabbed some assets like the barrels and things like that we've got over here, and a trough and stuff, so that we can have those be a thing. And there are some particle systems and things like that are now in the mix that kind of help to make this place look and feel a little bit more like it would actually be a real place. So anyway, wanted to show you all what I was going to be showing Roger tomorrow, so that you all had an idea of the kinds of stuff that we've got and kind of what the environment looks like now. We are getting, I think, relatively close to having something that if we move some of these pieces around, we could get it to be functional. When we bake the lighting in, I think that we'll be able to speed up the rendering a little bit. There is an active day-night cycle and things like that I have that are a part of this as well, but I don't have those things turned on until we can figure out whether or not we actually want to bake the lighting in for all of the different pieces that are in here, and if you wanted to have fog and if you didn't want to have fog and that sort of thing. But we do have, a menu system. We have crops. We've got vegetation. We've got trees. We have livestock. The livestock is animated. We have some animations for the characters. I went ahead and I put a nav mesh back in. It's not super great, but it at least works. I have it randomly spawning things like rocks and stuff. I don't know if we want it to do that, but anyway, we have all of those pieces, and all of those pieces are in here, and you can walk around and interact with the actual content as well. There's probably a better way to do it, but all of the content right now, you just reach out and you actually like touch um, the things so that you can open them up and things like that. So if you wanted to have a different system for what that looks like, we could potentially do that. Now that we have the ability to have laser pointers and UIs and things like that, I think that we can go ahead and put canvases in if you wanted to have that be a thing where, you know, you have an information panel and you look at it and click on it and laser finger it or whatever. But that's where we're at. So hopefully that's the kind of thing that you all were hoping that we would have at this point, and hopefully you think that it's going to be good enough to kind of showcase and stuff. And then I think that we've got a good start for some of the information for the next round of this, where we're going to be talking about having students develop way more of the content, and having me do probably less of the work so that they can go ahead and get in and do their stuff. So hope that you all are well, and look forward to talking to you sometime soon.